Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
My anus is bleeding!
He can't sit down.
They call them dumps, big massive dumps.
Got a flame coming out of his butthole.
Beta bear.
Get in a long tube with a bunch of demons.
Don't you ever do that. Don't you ever do that. I tell you, don't do it.
Oops.
We're under attack. It is an alien force, not of this world. It's not human intelligence.
Bullshit.
Trust me, I'm like a smart person.
Bullshit.
It's not a salami sandwich.
Disappointed!
Repeat the line.
Disappointed!
How you like that, boy?
No.
Give me a break.
Stop it.
Fired.
Bitch, move it along.
Now witness the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station.
Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho police.
Nation, Waldorf Nation. It's Monday. Start of a brand new week. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hopefully you all had a great weekend. We're back. We got stories. We got fun. We got excitement. We got disaster. We got Mike Pillow, as always. But no, seriously, we're going to have some fun stories, including Republicans continuing to be unmanned by Donald Trump and just allowing him to do it. That's fun. I'll give you the reasons why, of course. But again, fun video as well. So we have that. Dennis Prager literally goes, well, not literally, but he's like, kids, fuck them kids. What have you done? What have fifth graders ever done for society? That's amazing. We have Herschel Walker. Basically not publicly posting his L's, but telling them to reporters. It's hilarious. That's fun. We also are going to talk about the right-wing dating site, The Right Stuff. Fun. You're going to enjoy that story. It's once again another Republican fail when it comes to creating a new app. So, app fails. I love them. You love them too. You love to see it. It's fun. All right. So, that said, before we dive into the stories here, please like and share the stream. It helps us out very, very much. Really, really appreciate it. Again, I love to read super chats and all the wonderful things that you do for us here, and wonderful ways that you help the show. For example, you could be like Changeling DJ and become a member for 3 months on our YouTube page. I'm just saying, you could be a channel member, only if you want to, though. No pressure at all. I'm just wondering, like,
I'm not worth your McDonald's money?
Am I not worth your McDonald's money? I'm kidding. I don't want to guilt any of y'all, but if you can, help us out. With that said, why don't we dive in? Let's go. All right. Excuse me. If it's one thing former President Donald Trump is good at, it's making other Republicans his bitch. Now, that's what happened this weekend during a rally in Ohio for Republican Senate candidate JD Vance. Take a look.
And then the New York Times did a fake story today, big front page, that JD wasn't sure if he wanted my support. JD is kissing my ass. He wants my support. So, yeah, he said some bad things about me, but that was before he knew me, and then he fell in love. Remember I said that about Kim Jong-un? He fell in love, and they said, oh, Trump is saying he fell in love. Actually, he did, if you want to know the truth.
Oh, yeah, you fell in love. You know, JD's kissing my ass. Maybe literally. I don't know. So, look, he wants my support so much. I fell in love. I fell in love. He fell in love. You know what I have to say to that?
Beta male.
So, look, he also mentioned, by the way, JD Vance, he's such a great person that I've really gotten to know. And he said some bad things about me, but that's before he knew me, before he fell in love with me, and before he started kissing my ass. Okay, well, what are some of the bad things that JD Vance has said about Trump? I just want to give you a reminder here. Well, it wasn't just like, oh, he's a little crass. No. He literally said that Donald Trump might be America's Hitler. Not exactly a light thing to say. And I know there's a lot of people, especially a lot of right-wingers who, love to talk about, oh, Hitler this, Hitler that. Oftentimes, they say it with a little bit more praise. Some of them do, at least. But not all of them, to be fair. Okay. No, that's not a light thing to call the President of the United States a Nazi. In fact, look, let me give you the whole quote here. We are, whether we like it or not, the party of lower income, lower education, white people. And I have been saying for a long time that we need to offer these people something, and hell, maybe even expand our appeal to the working class black people in the process, or a demagogue would. We are now at that point. Trump is the fruit of the party's collective neglect. So now look, what he's saying here is actually true. Wasn't wrong at all when he was saying, yeah, so we're mainly basically the party of low income, poor white people, poorly educated white people. Maybe we should do something about that. Now, he also says, I go back and forth between thinking Trump is a cynical asshole like Nixon, who wouldn't be that bad and might even prove useful. Wow. Even that's amazing right there. Like, you could be prove useful. Yeah, to give tax cuts to the rich, which he 100% did. Massive tax cuts to the rich. So, congratulations on that. But then added, or that he's America's Hitler. And that's not it. The only thing that he said. On CNN, Vance said that Trump's 2016 campaign was, quote, actively antagonizing a lot of the black voters. And also, of course, referred to Trump as an idiot, a noxious human being, reprehensible, in fact. And had reiterated that I'm a never Trump guy. Well, look, to be fair, that was before he needed Republican voters. Those same white, poor, and poorly educated voters. Yeah, he needed those people, to try to win an election. And look, these are the people, by the way, who are constantly lied to and gaslit by their own party leaders, with propaganda, in order to willingly, get them to willingly vote for people who serve the rich. Again, the whole point of the Republican Party is to be a money funneling scheme from poor people, the middle class, to wealthy people. It's basically a pipeline. And so they distract these people with all sorts of different, propaganda techniques. Fox News is a great example of that. And basically get them to vote against their own economic interests. And so, look, these people, again, end up voting for those who serve the rich and are too distracted by manufactured culture war issues to realize who is actually picking their pockets. They have been conned into adopting racist narratives, misogynistic narratives, and are basically reactionaries whose only pleasure in life seems to be to own the libs now. Now, understand, JD Vance is not a moron. JD Vance knows this. Of course. He knows exactly who he's appealing to, and that, of course, makes him worse. Because he is willing to unman himself, debase himself, contradict himself, his previous stances and positions, in order to get a little tasty taste of that power. That is a disgusting kind of person. That's who JD Vance is. Or, you know, as Trump like to call him, JD Mandel. That's who they are. And look, this is what, unfortunately, all of the Republican politicians have to do nowadays to get a tasty taste of that power. If you don't, you're going to end up like Liz Cheney. Now, Liz Cheney is deeply conservative on policy positions. But because she actually called out Trump and tried to hold him accountable, and don't mistake this for praise of Liz Cheney, because it's not. Holding a criminal president accountable is the minimum requirements for her job. To be a congressperson, you are supposed to protect the United States from enemies foreign and domestic, right? And to hold people accountable who break the law. Well, for Trump, again, she was crushed by the voters because she decided to go against Trump. Understand that if you do not bend the knee, if you do not become reek, then you're done in Republican politics. Now, Donald Trump, of course, knows this. He's not a smart person. He's not very intelligent, okay? But he can read the room. He can read the room. And so he knows that he is popular in the Republican Party for the things that he is doing. And that's why he takes the chance, every chance I should say, that he can to unman Republicans who he knows need to climb his coattails to get to those sweet, sweet voters. That's why he turns them all into their bit. And by the way, look, Trump is entertaining. And I can't say from a progressive perspective that he's very strong. He's actually incredibly weak. But the appearance that he exudes, especially if you watch like outlets like Fox News, right-wing media that constantly, you know, talk about, oh, strong, he's so strong. Well, voters are attracted to strength. Now, of course, it doesn't show him whining all the time if you're watching right-wing media. And so they get that false impression that he's a strong person. And they like strength. And so, unfortunately, for JD Vance, he is not a strong person. And that allows Trump to run roughshod right all over him. It's fun to watch, but really, really sad when you think about how he still could win his election. Okay. Let's go to Dennis Prager. I keep saying his name wrong. I keep wanting to say Prager. Prager, god damn it.
I know words. I have the best words.
Just say it. Dennis Prager thinks your kids are essentially worthless.
The world is better because you are in it. I don't know what grade it was. I assume something like 5th grade. What a stupid message. Plus, it's not true. What has any 5th grader done to have made the world better because he or she is in it?
No, what has any 5th grader done to make the world better? I mean, you know, come on, you useless kids. Hey, I don't know, Dennis. What have you done to make the world better? Oh, right. Nothing. In fact, Dennis Prager and his fake ass university have been actively doing everything in their power to try to make the world a worse place. Just saying. That's what they do. I mean, but honestly, though, what a comically stupid thing to believe. Comically terrible. Oh, you know, those fifth graders. I mean, honestly, they're just useless. Drains the society. Because they haven't done anything. What have they done? I mean, what has that toddler done over to make the world better? He just sits there and cries. He crapped his pants. I mean, what is he doing? I don't know, Dennis. You seem to cry a lot. And perhaps also crap your pants. Just saying. You haven't done anything to make the world better either. So why are you complaining about kids? And complaining about messages like, hey, the world is good with you in it. I thought that was supposed to be a pro-life message. I thought you guys are supposed to be pro-life. I don't understand why he says things like that. Now, but again, let me address the more interesting part of this. And it's in this next video where Dennis basically tells on himself.
Well, again, as I pointed out, it's the opposite of the way many of us were raised. If my father had said to me, you know, Dennis, the world is better because you are in it, I would have believed that even though he was never drunk, that he was actually drunk.
You know, that was the opposite of how we were raised. You know, you see, when I was a kid, they all treated us like little pieces of shit. Yeah, but we turned out fine. Are you sure, Dennis? Are you sure? Doesn't look like you turned out okay. In fact, from my perspective, Dennis, you turned out to be the biggest piece of shit of all. So I don't know. I don't know what you mean here. Okay, I don't know how this makes you look good, because it really doesn't. If anything, though, you can learn from Dennis Prager, right? You can learn a very, very important lesson, which is love your children. Because if you don't, they might turn out to be him. And that's a scary thought. Okay. Moving on. He would have benefited from an adult telling him he was wanted as a kid. Yeah, oh yeah. Instead of growing up to be a sociopath. Boy. It really is amazing when Republicans tell on themselves, though. Really is amazing. Oh, let me go back here in between the segment here and thank Rialan N for being a member for 20 months. You're worth my McDonald's money. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I just wanted to give a shout out here. Yeah, one of you asks, like, why does he talk like that? I have no idea. I don't understand how people can listen to Dennis Prager talk and not fall asleep. Honestly, one of the most boring people that you could listen to. But so I don't understand. Maybe it's because, the people that are listening to him are like half asleep anyway. And so maybe like the right-wing talking points is kind of like, you know, subconsciously get into their brain when people are half asleep. They're like, oh, you know what? It turns out fifth graders didn't really do anything for the world. Weird. I don't know. Pretty fucked up. Yeah, Ravaging Wolverine. What have you contributed to society, 10-year-old? How much have you contributed to the GDP? Look, and by the way, that is the thought that I immediately got is, oh, it's because the kids haven't made money. Or more importantly, they haven't made a capitalist money. It just goes back to how they do really believe that a person's only inherent worth is how much value they can generate for business owners. Yeah, all right. Yeah, when can we put them to work? Child labor. That is definitely something Republicans would bring back. All right, let's go to Herschel Walker. Republican candidate Herschel Walker has lied about a lot of things, but in this case, he's actually being honest for once. Weird. He recently told a local newspaper that he wasn't that smart. Oh, all right. So let me give you the context here. This is this comes from an interview in the Savannah Morning News where he was having a conversation with a reporter about an upcoming debate between him and Senator Raphael Warnock. So this is the Georgia election. Walker told reporter Latrice Williams that, quote, I'm a country boy. I'm not that smart. Warnock, he says, is a preacher and is smart and wears these nice suits. So he is going to show up and embarrass me at the debate October 14th. And I'm just waiting to show up and I will do my best. Well, at least he understands that the debate is not on a Sunday night. It is on a Thursday night. But before he's like, the football, I can't, nobody's going to be watching the debate because of football. Sunday night football. Hey, look, he's not that smart. To be fair, he said it. I didn't. But look, that is a little bit of honest, refreshing honesty from a Republican, at least. I mean, that is, of course, the reason he's being honest is that his brain is basically a plate of scrambled eggs at this point, which explains why he would likely not be so good at debating, and of course, why he's openly admitting it. But here's the thing, though. I actually think that this might help him with Republican voters. I'm not kidding. At this point, understand how anti-intellectual the Republican Party has become. They hate smart people. They really, really do. Look, why do you think he won the primary in the first place? Again, you've heard Herschel Walker speak before. A lot of times he comes out and says word salad. I mean, look, Donald Trump, famously did the
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
All right. So person, woman, man, camera, TV, right? Herschel Walker would be like person, surfboard, airplane, camera, lid, potato. Did I get it right? And Republican primary voters, they looked at this guy and they said, nailed it. Nailed it. That's our guy. That's our guy. We want him. Because we've gotten to a point in Republican politics where being smart is bad. It is seen as a negative. And really, it's seen as a negative because smart has been likened to being an elite. And that's what it is. And so now, in the party, you have a race to see who's the dumbest. I've called it a dumb-off before. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of smart Republicans, politicians, right, who are forced to act dumb to appeal to the far-right mass. The people who have rejected intelligence, literally. Look, unlike Sarah Palin or Louis Gohmert, who are legitimately dumb, there are, or of course Donald Trump himself, but there are smarter politicians like JD Vance, for example, who is an intelligent person, but has had to dumb himself down and has had to kiss Donald Trump's ass. But see, Herschel Walker isn't like any of those people. Herschel Walker has literal brain damage. I'm not kidding. This is from his football career. So he's like literally a brain damaged person that Republican voters have chosen to run for office, for Senate. And look, along with that, Herschel Walker has long admitted to having dissociative identity disorder. Now, look, that's not disqualifying if you're properly treated, right? mental illness. I mean, it's a very serious thing. But again, you can get treatment for it, you can get help for it, and be perfectly productive, and go on to be a great senator, right? However, it depends on what the treatment is. Now, one of the counselors who had treated Walker believed that his condition was caused, the dissociative identity disorder was caused by literal demons, which he called a theological and sociological reality in a 2000 article asking that is titled, "Is it dissociation or demonization?" That was published in the Journal of Psychology and Christianity. So when this guy saw Herschel Walker, when Herschel Walker was getting treated by this guy, he's like, now it could be mental illness, or maybe
it's the devil, okay?
Maybe it's the devil. I don't know. It sounds like demons. Again, just look up the history of that. But the other thing, by the way, that could help Walker, or, at least not hurt him, is the fact that debates, they're more about spectacle and less about issues. So, look, I don't think the people who watch this debate that are on the side of Herschel Walker will care about the issues. Not really. I think Herschel Walker, they'll come out and he'll come out and he'll say a bunch of nonsense, and we'll come out the other side just the same. I really don't see debates moving the needle for Walker all that much. Okay, so maybe at worst he'll lose a couple of points, but he's already behind. The latest polling in the Georgia race by Quinnipiac, taken September 8th through the 12th, with 1,200 likely voters, has Warnock up by about 6 points. Other polls have shown him up to about 10 points. So, look, I don't think he can do worse, especially with this debate, and maybe he could do better with some of the dum-dums. I don't know. As for Warnock could, this debate could actually help Warnock's case if he were to focus on some of the issues. Now, again, it depends on how he does. Maybe Warnock could botch the debate. Maybe he could bring up a bunch of, non-issues, make himself look bad to Georgia voters. And so there's a way that he could possibly lose points on that. But if you're to talk about issues, if you're to focus on real issues that are facing working people, then I think Warnock will do all right. Especially since, remember, they had run originally on $2,000 stimulus checks. Now we didn't get those, right? But I do remember the call. Hey, if you elect, Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, you're gonna get your $2,000 stimmy checks. Now that, of course, could work against him because we didn't get the checks. But it does show you. It really kind of illustrate how these kitchen table issues, helping average working class people, is actually, good for the voters. And they'll like that, and they'll vote for that. But we'll see what happens. As long as they avoid wading into the clown show stuff and keep it focused on the issues, I think Warnock will do fairly well. I think it would be very sad to see Warnock lose his seat. It's been a very compassionate and effective senator. I definitely do not want Herschel Walker to win, because that would be cray-cray. All right. Let's move on. Let's go to Mike Pello. Mike Pello is hoping Republicans lose the Senate. Oh, that's interesting. So now, during a speech in Georgia, Mike Pello CEO Mike Lindell revealed that he was actually secretly praying for the Democrats to win in the state. According to the Macon Telegraph, he told Trump supporters, all of a sudden, I started praying. I go, God, please let them take both of these Senate seats. Both? Now, look, why in the world would he be saying that? Well, there's a couple of reasons. Number one, he actually wants to prove himself correct about his nonsense voter fraud claims. Remember, this is the guy that says, the Democrats, along with the machines, Dominion, the Italians, Iranians, and Pomeranians, they come together, you see, with the ghost of Hugo Chavez, and they wanted to steal the election from Donald Trump using the machines. It's Skynet. This guy staked his entire business, credibility, which, believe it or not, at some point he actually had some, and money. Most importantly, money on this. Maybe it's helped him sell a few pillows here and there, but I think it's eventually going to come crashing down like a poorly made pillow fort. The second reason, though, is actually a little bit more interesting, a little bit more relevant. What he's doing is planting the seed. The same seed that Donald Trump planted in the 2020 election. If we lose Georgia, if we lose this Senate race, it's because of voter fraud. It's not because Warnock and Ossoff, because last time they ran on $2,000 stimulus checks, right? And other issues that actually would, try to help the working class. Again, by the way, that actually didn't happen, but as far as the $2,000 stimulus checks, I'm kind of bummed about that. But that said, Warnock is running against somebody whose brand is basically cottage cheese at this point and is not doing well in the polls. Herschel Walker is about 6 points behind, and John Ossoff's not even up for re-election. Not until I think 2027. That said, Lindell also went into how he believes that it would have been smart for Democrats to only win one of the seats, which would have made them the minority. Again, I didn't seem to understand how any of these things work. But says they got greedy. They got greedy by taking both, and therefore made the Republicans believe that the election was rigged, which, by the way, had they only won one, they still would have believed the election was rigged, because, again, that's the narrative coming in from the Republican Party now. That is the mainstream narrative. Donald Trump has decreed, hey, any election that we don't win, it must be voter fraud. It's the fraud. So, look, that's the new go-to move for the party. Half of all Republicans in this point believe that the 2020 election was rigged against Donald Trump. And so what that did, ironically, in Georgia, actually hurt Republicans. According to many Republican strategists, former President Trump's allegations of fraud cost the party both Senate seats because they were discouraged in taking part in the election. They decided to stay home. Now, is that same dynamic going to play out in this race? I don't know. Once again, I said half of all Republicans believe Biden stole the election in 2020, but that doesn't necessarily mean they won't turn out for Senate races, which is really, really important. So again, we're going to see how this all works out in November, but it's very important to note, once again, that here's Mike Pillow out there planting the seed in the minds of voters that, oh, watch out, it's the fraud. And if they lose, which I'm hoping they do, it's because of the voter fraud. All right. I'm going to take a quick break here. We're going to come back. We got more stuff, including a Republican leader of a Republican think tank blaming women for their urges. It's a really strange story, but stay right here. We'll be back in a couple minutes around the nation. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. Around the nation right here, Waldorf Nation. Let's see. Let's start with the super chat here. Real quick. Or not real quick. Gabby Mathis says, I had enough of my pillow guy. Please don't provide him with more publicity. Look, the guy is all over. He's got a ton of publicity already. I don't think I'm really adding too much to it. But I am making fun of him. And most importantly, I'm trying to debunk his nonsense. I can understand how it can get a little grating on from our side. But if, you know, there are right-wingers that maybe come across or people in the middle that, you know, come across some of the videos, you might show them how much of a, you know, clown this guy is and not to listen to him. And most importantly, not to support his business. But I get what you're saying. Let's see. Ray Riley says, I think you got it wrong on why Republicans hate smart people. It's because we are other, and you know Republicans hate the other more than anything. Yes, they do hate other people, but once again, they've also shown over and over again how they really don't like facts. How they don't like facts, how they don't like information, how they don't like people who bring them information. And so I think for the most part, no, they hate smart people. Okay. Move on. Thank you, by the way, for the super chats. Appreciate that. I'll do Twitch at the end of the show. The leader of a Republican think tank believes that women need stronger abortion laws because they just can't control themselves.
What has happened? We've broken down marriage because when you're sexually available, marriage doesn't necessarily need to occur. And the challenge with that mindset and women not controlling their sexual impulses and demanding marriage before they do get sexually involved is that then men are the ones that lose track of time.
You hear that, ladies? The real problem here is you're not controlling your impulses. And that's why we need to ban abortion. Because, of course. Wow. So if you're wondering who that was conservative Star Parker, who runs a conservative think tank, Cure, and writes a weekly news column. I can only imagine what kind of gems you'll get from that. And she was responding to some statistics that show that women, particularly women of color, have fewer opportunities because they're working to care for their families and finances instead of being able to get ahead. So now she was asked, hey, I mean, what do you think that the reversal of Roe v. Wade is going to have on that? And are you ready for that? And she says, of course. Yeah, no, I think this is a good thing. I think taking away reproductive freedom is fantastic because it'll make people get married. Oh, great. So now look, the issue here is not a moral one. It's a socioeconomic one. Why black women do not get ahead. And by the way, not just black women, but women of all races don't get ahead in the workplace. It's because corporations, businesses hate when you have children. And look, they'll talk about the expectations, of course, the mother is the primary caretaker, which unfortunately in our society, it tends to be the case. And as a result, you have employers that will discriminate against women in the workplace using that as an excuse. Oh, well, you know, you got a family and you got kids. And so obviously you're not going to put the corporation first. So, you know, we're just going to pay you less, even though oftentimes women tend to work harder and are more efficient, get more done, and are just generally better workers. I'm not saying in all cases, but certainly I've seen examples of this, and they still get paid less than their male counterparts. So, in fact, women often get paid less and get passed up for promotions because they're women. Now, when it comes to black motherhood, what's interesting here is that black mothers are more likely to be employed often working 2 to 3 jobs to get by. And so here's where the narrative here from the conservatives comes into play, where they say, oh, you got the single mothers, and that's a problem. Where are the fathers? Where are the black fathers? Gee, you might want to, look at the carceral state that they've set up that imprisons black bodies. Just saying. Just saying. But look, that's an example of them taking an economic and socioeconomic issue, as well as, of course, a criminal justice issue, and turning it into an issue where it's your morals. And so if you're in that situation, you're a single mother and you're, barely making enough to get by, well, that's your fault. Oh, really? Again, women, especially women of color, get paid less because companies are allowed to get away with it. Corporate America loves to do that. And they hate it when their workers demand things like child care and affordable health insurance for their families or paid time off. No. They despise those things. And so in order to not do them, they just say, oh, you know what? You're not working hard enough, or you don't deserve it because, oh, maybe you have to leave because your kid's sick. Sorry. I remember I worked for a company that used to do these meetings. And in one of the meetings, they were talking about health insurance. The CEO was talking about health insurance, and they're like, your kids are costing us too much, so we have to change health plans. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Oh, your kids are costing me too much. Your kids get sick too much. So we're going to have to cut health plans because we don't want to pay that much for our part of our contribution. That is ridiculous. Ridiculous. So now Parker is taking these economic issues and saying that, see, black mothers, you can't get ahead because, not because of corporate greed, but because you can't control your sexual impulses. You're just too horny. That's the problem. That's a real problem, ladies. According to Star Parker, women are sluts and you need to control yourself so you can get a man and rope him into a marriage. That's how you get by. But wait a minute. That looks bad on men too. A lot of men out there actually do want to have marriage. Look, conservatives understand they have a really warped view of things. Both men and women, by the way. Apparently, to them, men are dumb and have to be roped into a marriage, and that women are all sluts and can't control themselves. This is what they believe. This is what they're saying. This is what they're saying. Apparently. And their solution to it is just ban abortion so that, they have to have babies, and then for women to stay home. That's it. They think that's going to fix all these social issues and economic issues that really have been created by corporate America and greed. That's what they're doing here. Again, bringing me back to Parker. Now, you notice Parker is a black woman. And I think we all know how conservatives love to get minorities to trash their own communities. That's what she's doing. 100%. She is there running these so-called think tanks, right? Getting paid, kind of like Candace Owens, right? To ultimately help both patriarchy and white supremacy. Saying that it's the women's fault for not controlling themselves, and that, hey, white men who are in power, men who are making the laws, well, you don't have to do anything. Don't worry. It's not a societal problem. No, you can be sexist and racist if you want. It's a moral problem. It's their problem. It's their fault. So we don't have to do anything, policy-wise. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, those are women. Those are sluts. Yeah, that's what it is. I should put a pill between her legs. Yeah, that's what they should do. I mean, it really is amazing. And they also, by the way, absolve men of all responsibility for having kids. You don't hear them talk about that, right? How it's the men's responsibility. Because they're the 100% of pregnancies caused by men. Just saying. I know. But what about the Bible? Immaculate conception. Okay, now we're talking fantasy fairy tale. No, we're not having that conversation. No. But getting back to Parker, again, she gets paid to do this thing, to run this think tank that, again, is, I imagine, and to write those articles, which I imagine are filled with just ridiculous stuff, and promoting fake crisis pregnancy centers, which take in vulnerable people and lie to them. And that's the important thing to note. They take in people and they fill them full of disinformation. That's all she's doing. This is who they are, and it's disgusting to see this kind of rhetoric that is basically normalized on at least on one side of the political spectrum. Okay. Moving on. Let's get to the last story here. Conservative dating sites. All right. A new pro-Trump dating site is already having a bit of a hard time. It hasn't even launched yet. And it's called The Right Stuff. And it's funded by billionaire Peter Thiel, who happens to be gay. And the reason that is important to note is because this particular site is all about conservative dating that is only heterosexual in nature. So immediately they ban gay relationships on that site. Again, Peter Thiel funds this, and if he wanted to, he couldn't use it. Amazing. But that said, there are more problems here. Look, this site is already being rejected by women, the very demographic that they really, really need to make this whole thing work. Again, if you're running a dating site, you need women. But getting them has become a hard sell, which is why they hired Kayleigh McEnany's sister, Ryan McEnany, to do the advertising. I remember a while back showing you their incredibly cringy ad that they put out about this site. And look, the reason they tapped her is because she has about 146,000 followers on Insta, which are mostly young conservatives, and has pitched the site as being exclusive. Oh, very exclusive. It's invite only. So, you know, if you want in, you gotta be invited. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. By the way, speaking of exclusivity, she seems to be nailing that one because nobody wants to be on it. According to the Daily Beast, who spoke with female Republican staffers, many young conservative women have so far ignored McEnany's outreach and have instead jeeringly passed around screenshots of her messages to group chats. Other Republican staffers in D.C., the sort who boast about downing drinks at the Navy Yard watering hole mission and claim their pronouns are ye and haw on their Instagram profiles, told the publication that the app has an array of possible problems, like, for example, liberals masquerading as right-wingers, which would be funny, and the awkward potential of matching them with conservative staffers that they already know. In fact, one of them, a female Republican operative, said this, quote, "It's all of Mitch McConnell's staffers." That is both sad and hilarious. The only people on here are Mitch McConnell staffers. And you know those guys. Blah. Another female Republican staffer told the Daily Beast, "I feel like it could be vulnerable to people trolling." No kidding. Really? Or, you know, maybe it could also be filled with fake profiles, bots, or catfishers. But that's, of course, look, that can happen on any dating site, to be fair. Now, the same person also added, hey, look, you can meet other conservatives on normal dating apps. It's actually something that you can filter for, which makes the whole point of a conservative dating site rather redundant and really super safe spacey. Like, that's a little weird. Now, others are worried about limiting their prospective dating pool. One said, quote, this is a reporter for a conservative publication. I don't exactly want the world I work in knowing my dating status. Really? No kidding. That same reporter in the Right Stuff's target demographic lamented that dating apps feel antithetical to traditional conservatism. Quote, the internet seems to interfere with biological tendencies, like men courting women, she said. This isn't like Alexa telling you the weather. You can't upend the natural mating process and call it traditional. So, wait, let's not use the internet for dating because it's not natural or biological. Okay, why don't you tell me what's in that blonde hair dye then that you're probably using? I mean, if you want to talk about the natural process, come on, people. I mean, there's no irony here, right? But anyway, a pre-launch unpaid app ambassador that lives in Tampa, Florida, had other complaints, even though that, again, this is something that, maybe complaint is the wrong word for this, right? Maybe it's more of a suggestion. Okay, so this is Savannah Dudzik, who met the startup representatives at a Turning Point USA gathering, added that she had historically disliked dating apps, such as, get this, Catholic Match. Partly because the men on the platform on Catholic Match were just looking for hookups. Dudzik hopes the app will ban right-wing males on the platform looking for hookups. They would have to ban a lot of people. Honestly. Hey, look, I got news for you. A lot of people like to hook up. I actually don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, you do you, right? But still, okay, what's to stop anybody from just lying about that then? They say don't hook up. Okay, I'm just not going to mention anything to hook up in my profile. Look, it's the internet. You can lie about pretty much anything. and again, there's nothing to really stop that on other dating sites either. So, I mean, either you ban pretty much everyone from the internet from being able to access that site, and potentially lose a ton of money, which, remember, this is the whole point, to make money. Or you just, allow these people on the site. But aside from these practical issues, of not making this a sausage fest with a bunch of horny MAGA chuds trying to hook up, with the likely very few women who would dare to even go there, is the fact that they had stolen this name from another dating site. Yes, it turns out there's already a site called The Right Stuff that has been in existence for more than 2 decades and has nothing to do with conservative politics. In fact, the company itself is planning to send a cease and desist letter to the Teal-backed operation, according to Michael Fagan, an attorney working on that case. Yes. Hilarious. The existing dating service is for people that have higher levels of education, and many of them are left-wing, so they don't like the confusion, he said. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Funny of how, I think they're setting up, the contradiction here. Well, obviously, the people on here are smart and have high income, and they're left-wing. Just saying. Now, the founder of the original Right Stuff dating app, Dawn Touchings, which is a fun name, especially considering how he's running a dating app. The founder of the Daily Beast said that she holds the, she claimed to the Daily Beast that she holds the trademark to the same name the conservative dating app has poached. There are a lot of other really good right-wing names that they could choose. They are very smart. I'm sure they could come up with something. Oh, look, I could imagine hearing her say that with some condescension in her voice. Hey, they're smart. I'm sure you come up with something. Idiots. Okay. But anyway, I've got some ideas. MAGA mate. MAGA match. I'm good at this stuff. How about make America date again? Hey. Conservative Cupid. I mean, the sky's the limit. All sorts of stuff. Hate date. Says Praying A in the chat. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, they could come up with something. I'm sure. But look, getting back to the name here. Here's what Touchings said. Quote, I have a lawyer and he is contacting them. That is my incorporated name. Now, the Daily Beast did independently verify that there was a trademark application for the name, but could not verify if it had already been approved. So, could they win this? Oh, maybe. It depends on whether or not it was approved. Then again, copyright law, a little bit difficult, to be fair. So, interesting. Look, the thing that I find most hilarious about this entire thing is, the fact that they are creating a right-wing dating app. You got these companies creating all sorts of right-wing only apps. Right-wing social media app, right-wing dating app, right-wing Facebook, right-wing YouTube, basically. And look, I love the safe space aspect to it, because here they are sealing themselves off from everyone else. Why would they do that? Well, look, on normal dating sites, there have been a lot of Republicans that are complaining about how nobody wants to date them. Nobody wants to date them. Gee, I wonder why. Maybe it's because, conservative men are trying to take away women's bodily autonomy, for one. That seems to be a thing that's going on. And to be, shittier when it comes to, women's rights and things like that. So, yeah, I'm not exactly surprised. But instead of being less repulsive to women, Republicans, conservatives would rather likely pay for a chance to vie for one of the 3 women who are on that site, and maybe what may or may not be likely fake profiles. I don't know, man. It just feels like this site is doomed to fail, like so many of the other right-wing only apps and websites. Hilarious. Hilarious. Oh. Okay. All right, so let's go to before we head out here. We'll go to Twitch and thank some Twitch subs. Let's go to Beth Graham 76. Thank you for resubbing for a month at tier 1 for 6 months. Appreciate that. Deb in Michigan, thank you for resubbing for a month at tier 1 for 4 months. Enjoy your show. Well, thank you, Deb. I appreciate that. I really, really, absolutely do. Let's see. Any more super chats, comments? Let me Gonna scroll through here. Yeah. And that's all I got. Okay. Hold on. Cupid. Oh, that's a good one with a Q. I like that. That's totally a good one. Nice. Nice. Where did I see that? Vitingale. Very well done on that one. All right. What else? What should be the app's name? Christian Mingle. Barefooting in the kitchen. Let's see. Let's go dating. Oh, listen, like let's go Brandon. Oh, that's clever. I feel like that's gonna go over people's heads though. But you know what? I like that one. Magamore or Magamore? Is that Frog Wizard? I don't quite get that one. Why is Chef always heading out when the room has gotten hot? Because I don't have any stories left. What happened to the good old-fashioned meeting them at church? I'm sure people do so. Matt Bryant says fascistonly.com. Oh my god, conservative family reunions are called speed dating. Oh, Frog Wizard, Jesus Christ. All right. Anyway, anti-Christian mingle. Oh, okay. Yeah, see that one got over. That one went over my head, Woozle. And it's a foreign it's a foreign sounding name, Amore, so that's gonna go over conservative heads too. All right. Like I said, that's all I've got. Thank you for going around the nation with me today. Please like and share the stream if you haven't already. Very important if you that you do so. Appreciate that. Everybody, thank you for watching the show. Have a great night. We will see you all tomorrow right here, same time, same place. Remember, love you all, and change begins with you. Good night, everybody.
Sexual anarchy.
It's not a salami sandwich. It's a viable baby in the womb.
Bullshit.
Up yours, wolf moralist. We'll see who cancels who.
I like my knee. Tighten up my knee. I have not loved this congregation.
There's some whores in this house. Charlie Wack.
They're kicking me out the door. They're kicking me out the door.
Bitch, move it along.